Right now, as you watch this video, -8% of your DNA is not human, that not even close to human. It is viral. Ancient viral code, inserted into your ancestors' genomes by infections that occurred tens of millions of years ago, before humans existed, before primates existed, some of it, before mammals existed, for decades after its discovery. Scientists called it junk DNA, dead code, evolutionary garbage, remnants of ancient infections that no longer served any purpose. 8% of your genome. Dismissed, ignored, filed away. Then in 2023, a team at the University of Tokyo published a paper that changed everything. That ancient viral code is not junk. It is not dead. It is active. It is producing proteins. Regulating your immune system, shaping the development of your brain, and controlling, in ways scientists are still mapping, whether you are susceptible to specific diseases, whether you experience depression, whether your immune system responds normally, whether your memory functions correctly. 8% of what makes you, was written by a virus. And it is not done writing. Today, we go through exactly what this means, what was found, what it is doing, and what it tells us about the boundary between what we call life and what we call infection. To understand what 8% of your DNA is, we need to understand a specific type of virus, a retrovirus. Most viruses infect a cell, use it to make copies, and leave. Retroviruses do something different. They insert their genetic code directly into the host cell's DNA, permanently. HIV is a retrovirus. It inserts itself into your genome. That is why it is so difficult to eliminate. It is not just in your body, it is in your DNA. Now, here is where it gets extraordinary. 100,000 ERV sequences, accumulated across millions of years of primate evolution, each one representing an ancient infection that was never cleared because it inserted itself into the very instructions used to build the next generation. These are not foreign invaders sitting in your genome. They are woven into it. They are inherited. They are expressed. They are you. And for most of scientific history, we thought they were doing nothing, vestigial, silent, dead. The 2023 Tokyo paper and a cascade of research that followed it proved that assumption wrong in ways that the scientific community is still fully processing. 2018, a team of researchers at the University of Utah was studying a protein called ARC. ARC, activity-regulated cytoskeletal-associated protein, is one of the most important proteins in the human brain. It is essential for long-term memory formation. Without ARC, memories do not consolidate. Information does not transfer from short-term to long-term storage. ARC is why you can remember your childhood, why you can learn skills, why experience changes behavior. The Utah team was examining ARC's structure at the molecular level, and they found something that stopped the analysis. Your brain uses a virus mechanism to form memories. 350 to 400 million years ago, a retrovirus infected an early vertebrate ancestor. The infection inserted its capsid protein gene into the genome. That gene, across hundreds of millions of years of evolution, was repurposed, refined, optimized, integrated into the most complex information processing system biology has ever produced. Until, in a human brain, it became the mechanism by which you remember your name, your mother's face, every experience that made you who you are. Shepard described it as follows: the virus essentially invented a way to send messages between cells, and the brain, which is fundamentally a messaging system, borrowed that invention. Scientists still don't fully understand the full extent to which viral mechanisms have been integrated into neurological function. ARC is the most dramatic known example. It is almost certainly not the only one. Multiple sclerosis, schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS. Lupus. 5 diseases, collectively affecting hundreds of millions of people worldwide. 5 diseases with no cure. 5 diseases whose underlying mechanisms, why they develop, why some people get them and others do not, have never been fully explained. In 2020, a convergence of research from multiple institutions began to identify a common thread. Dormant for millions of years, then in a specific person, under specific conditions. The ancient viral code reactivates and begins producing proteins. Proteins that attack the myelin sheath around neurons. Proteins that trigger immune responses against the body's own tissue. Proteins that interfere with the function of motor neurons. The diseases are not caused by a new infection. They are caused by an ancient infection already inside the genome, waking up. Scientists still don't fully understand what triggers ERV reactivation in specific individuals. Environmental factors, immune system stress, and other viral infections have all been proposed as triggers. The complete mechanism, why the ancient code wakes up in some people and not others, is one of the most actively researched questions in modern medicine. But here is what the research is now pointing toward. If specific ERVs can be targeted, if the ancient viral code can be silenced before it causes damage, some of the most treatment-resistant diseases in human medicine may become treatable. The cure for multiple sclerosis may be found in the same ancient retroviral sequences that caused it. In the year 2000, the same year Gaudio found Heraclean on the ocean floor, two separate research teams made a discovery that is possibly the most extraordinary fact in all of human biology, and it received almost no mainstream coverage. The discovery was this: the human placenta, the organ that allows a mother to sustain a fetus, could not form without a protein derived from ancient viral DNA. Every placental mammal on Earth depends on a viral protein to reproduce. 25 million years ago, a retrovirus infected a primate ancestor. Its envelope protein, the structure it used to fuse with and enter cells, was repurposed by evolution, refined into a mechanism for fusing cells together, specifically the cells that form the placenta. If that ancient infection had not occurred, if the virus had not inserted its envelope gene into that ancestor's genome 25 million years ago, the entire mammalian lineage would have developed differently, perhaps not developed at all. Humans do not just carry ancient viral code. Humans exist because of it. We have always thought of viruses as the enemy, invaders, parasites, threats to be neutralized. The immune system's entire function, our white blood cells, our antibodies, our fever response, exists to fight viruses. And viruses have killed hundreds of millions of human beings throughout history. The hostility is earned, but the genomic evidence is revealing a more complicated picture. Between a fifth and a quarter of what makes you a mammal, rather than a fish, was originally viral code. The immune system that fights viruses today was partially built by viruses in the past. The brain that processes fear of infection was shaped by infections. The reproductive system that creates new humans was enabled by a viral protein. Virologists are beginning to describe ERVs not as parasites or relics, but as a genetic toolkit, a library of functional modules, capsid proteins, envelope proteins, regulatory sequences that retroviruses introduce into genomes, and that evolution, over millions of years, repurposes for new biological functions. In this model, viruses are not just threats. They are a mechanism by which genetic innovation is distributed across species, a horizontal gene transfer system operating across millions of years, an engine of evolutionary complexity. Scientists still don't fully understand the full catalog of biological functions that have viral origins. New ERV-derived proteins are still being identified. The regulatory functions of the vast majority of the 100,000 ERV sequences in the human genome have not been characterized. What we know is that junk DNA is not junk. It is a record, a molecular, fossil library of every major infection in primate evolutionary history, and it is still being read. Let us be precise about what we know. 8% of your DNA is ERV sequences. An additional 37% is other transposable elements, genetic sequences with various non-human origins, the strictly human-specific protein coding. Genes, the sequences that code for uniquely human proteins, represent approximately 1.5% of the genome, 1.5% of the genome that defines you as a biological organism. Strictly human-specific protein coding sequences represent 1.5%, a palimpsest, an ancient document written and rewritten by infections, by parasites, by organisms that were trying to use your ancestors as copying machines and accidentally donated their code to the evolutionary process. The virus is not outside you. It is in the paper. The text is written on. This has implications for how we think about disease, about identity. About the definition of life itself. If viruses are molecular tools that introduce functional genetic modules into genomes, if they have been doing this for billions of years, then the distinction between organism and virus, between self and infection, between evolution and invasion, is not as clear as we believed. Life, it turns out, does not evolve in isolation. It evolves in conversation with viruses, with bacteria, with the molecular debris of a billion years of biological conflict. The self is assembled from the other 6 segments, 100,000 ancient retroviral sequences in your genome, an ARC protein built from viral capsid machinery, forming every memory you have ever made, dormant viral code reactivating in specific individuals to produce multiple sclerosis, ALS, schizophrenia, a viral protein making placental reproduction possible across all mammals, a fifth of mammalian regulatory DNA derived from viral insertions, and a genome that is, strictly speaking, only 1.5% uniquely human. We have spent the entire history of medicine treating viruses as the enemy, building immune systems to fight them, developing antivirals to kill, then understanding them as something external, something other, something that is not us. And the genome, if we are willing to read it honestly, tells a different story. The enemy built you. The enemy is you, the 8% that science called junk, that scientists filed away for decades as evolutionary noise, turns out to be part of the operating system. Part of the memory architecture, part of the reproductive machinery, part of the immune regulation. Part of what separates you from every other form of life that preceded you. Biology has always been more complicate than the stories we tell about it. And the story we told about viruses, invaders from outside, enemies of life, was always incomplete. The complete story is stranger and more profound. Viruses did not just infect life. They helped write it. They helped write you. If this changed how you think about your own body, hit like, subscribe to Axiom Void for weekly dives into the science that makes you question what you thought was settled. Drop a comment. Does knowing that 8% of your DNA is viral change how you think about human identity? And what do you think is in the 45% of the genome we still don't fully understand? Stay curious. Keep questioning everything. See you in the next one.